Hello, Earth Explorers! Welcome back to another session of 3D questions from STEAMspirations. I'm Miss Michelle, and today our objective is to understand how natural forces like wind, water, and ice cause changes to Earth's surface and lead to the formation of various landforms, including the types that are key to our studies here in Texas. To learn more about today's topic, click the top corner of your screen to watch a video that demonstrates how different forces shape landforms such as deltas, canyons, sand dunes, valleys, mountains, plateaus, and coastal features. This video will help you visualize the dynamic process that continuously transforms our planet's surface. Be sure to have your LVL Up workbook ready to write down your answers and reflections as we explore these concepts. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Now, let's get started. Earth's surface is constantly being shaped and reshaped by natural forces. Three primary forces, wind, water, and ice, play crucial roles in forming various landforms through processes like weathering, erosion, and deposition. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks and minerals into smaller pieces by wind, water, ice, and biological activity. Erosion is the movement of these rocks, soil, and sediments from one place to another by wind, water, or ice. Deposition occurs when these materials settle and accumulate in new locations, forming new landforms. These processes lead to the creation of many types of landforms. Deltas are formed at the mouths of rivers where water slows down and deposits sediments. Canyons are carved by the persistent flow of rivers or the movement of glaciers over millions of years. Sand dunes develop in deserts and coastal areas where wind deposits sand in mounds or ridges. Valleys form from the erosion of the land by rivers or glaciers. Mountains are created by tectonic forces pushing up the Earth's crust with their shapes further modified by erosion. Plateaus are elevated flat areas that have been uplifted with steep sides shaped by erosion. Coastal features such as beaches, barrier islands, and spits are shaped by wave action, currents, and tidal forces. To recap, weathering breaks down rocks into smaller particles. Erosion moves sediments from one location to another by wind, water, or ice. Deposition, the process of laying down sediments in new locations, forming various landforms. Now that we reviewed the key processes, it's time for an interactive challenge. Here's your task. Imagine you're a geologist studying different landforms in Texas and beyond to understand how they were created by natural forces. You have several scenarios to consider, each representing a unique type of landform formation. Below are descriptions of each scenario. Scenario A. A river flows steadily through a flat coastal plain, carrying sediments along its journey. As it reaches the ocean, the river slows and sediments are deposited, building up a triangular-shaped landform at the river's mouth. Guiding question. What type of landform is created by this process? Think about how rivers deposit sediments as they enter larger bodies of water. Scenario B. In a desert region, powerful winds pick up loose sand and move it across the landscape. The wind drops the sand in certain areas, forming tall, crescent-shaped hills. Guiding question. What landform might these sand hills become over time? Reflect on how wind deposits particles in arid environments. Scenario C. A river cuts through a rocky plateau, eroding the rock over millions of years. The river carves out a deep, narrow gorge with steep sides. Guiding question. What landform is created by a river cutting through rock over time? Consider how water erosion shapes steep landscapes. Scenario D. A glacier moves slowly across a high mountain range, scraping the bedrock and carrying rocks and debris along with it. As the glacier retreats, it leaves behind a deep U-shaped valley. Guiding question. What type of landform does a glacier create as it moves through mountainous regions? Think about how ice erosion shapes the Earth's surface. Scenario E. Along the coastline, waves continually crash against the shore, eroding the rocks and carrying away the sand. Over time, the sand is deposited further down the coast, forming a new sandy beach. Guiding question. What kind of coastal feature results from the constant action of waves and currents? Reflect on how water shapes the shoreline. Next challenge. Which of the following landforms is most likely formed by the deposition of sediments carried by a river? A mountain range. B, a delta at a river's mouth. C, a sand dune in the desert. D, a canyon carved by a river. Guiding question. Consider which landforms result from the sediments being deposited rather than removed by erosive forces. Additional challenge. What natural force is most likely responsible for the creation of a delta in a coastal environment? A. Tectonic uplift. B. Wind deposition. C. River flow depositing sediments. D. Glacial movement. Guiding question. Think about which force has the most significant role in transporting and depositing large amounts of sediments in coastal areas. Now it's your turn. Use these guiding questions to help you analyze each scenario and understand the processes involved in forming various landforms. Think carefully about how wind, water, and ice interact with the Earth's surface, and record your answers in your LVL Up workbook. Let's summarize what we've learned today. Today we explored how natural forces such as wind, water, and ice create different landforms, particularly focusing on those seen in Texas and similar environments. We learned deltas are formed by the deposition of river sediments where the river meets a larger body of water. Canyons are carved out by the erosive power of moving water over millions of years. Sand dunes are shaped by wind moving and depositing sand. Valleys are formed by river or glacier erosion. Mountains are built by tectonic forces and shaped by erosion. Plateaus are flat elevated regions that have been uplifted and eroded over time. Coastal features like beaches are shaped by wave action and sediment deposition. By understanding these processes, we gain insight into the dynamic forces that constantly reshape our planet. Now, it's time to put your knowledge to the test. Remember to record your answers in your LVL Up workbook. Reflect on how different natural forces create the diverse landscapes we see around us today. Keep thinking critically, stay curious, and continue exploring the wonders of our world. Until next time, keep up the great work as Earth Science Explorers.